gully, in every alley, we appreciate when I got to everybody. So when me face God, you know, when I think of the love of the Lord.
Spice up your next event with professional lighting. Call 610-5679 and give your audience an experience they'll never forget. Proper stage lighting ensures stage visibility, motivates, and sets the mood of the atmosphere. We provide services for weddings, concerts, parties, dance recitals, and much more. Captivate your audience. Improve your production today. Call Shamax Productions at 610-5679 for quality and professional stage lighting.
Blessed Gardens is servicing home gardens across the country from the nation's capital and helping Belizeans reconnect with nature. We have everything you need for your home garden, so get growing. We have various types of soils: fortified soil, composted soil, potting soil, and pure compost for your garden. We have quality seeds and over 65 varieties of food seedlings for your garden. We even have organic insecticides available, EM soil treatment, and Polyshade for your excessive sun or rain. Blessed Gardens has all your garden solution in one location. Call 610-5679. Visit us at the Bumapan Market Plaza or enjoy our free deliveries across the country. Blessed Gardens. Get growing, Belize.
Cyber Realty and Development is the leader in providing solutions to the current land crisis in Belize. For homeowners and investors alike, Cyber Realty is offering special deals on half-acre parcels in its new Emery Village development. Enjoy prime land off mile 37 on the George Price Highway at an unbeatable price. All you need is the initial down payment of $275 Belize dollars. Take advantage and reserve your half-acre home sites today. Emery Village. Join the community. Invest in your future.
Do you enjoy learning and wanting to know more about Christ your Savior? Then join Phil Sanders in Search of the Lord's Ways every Sunday 7:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. on PlusTV for half an hour of beautiful hymns and Bible messages. Messages are repeated on Tuesdays at 1:30 and Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Search in the Word for God's will. Know more and do more for the God we love. In Search of the Lord's Ways with Phil Sanders is being brought to you by the Church of Christ in your area. Be sure to visit.
Mopping, tiles, furniture, And
Miss, you don't need all of this, man. Only this you need to make 4 out of this. And it's cheaper than that.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya.
To another edition of Rise and Shine. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning. It is the 28th of January 2026. My name is Louis Wade, and it is a pleasure to come into your homes on this beautiful morning. Join our conversation at 822-2031, or if you have any text messages, 610-5679. Let's talk about what is taking place in our beautiful nation. Yesterday morning, Monday morning, I was joined by Brother Fem, so we had a good conversation yesterday morning about some of the issues that are taking place in the region. We looked at immigration, the movement of people, the visa situation with the United States, and then briefly in the second part of our program, we talked about the new technologies that are coming with data to satellite, data on satellite, DOS. And that's where we will begin to see this year, launching on the 1st of October, and there are quite a few more, that direct to cell phone, there will be satellite services available in different parts of the world. And that, of course, relates to the conversation that we continue to have here in Belize as it relates to the proposed sale of Smart to BTL, creating a monopoly in Belize. And of course, we want to hear from you, our viewers. So we say good morning, whether you are watching us on the stream for Facebook or YouTube channel, or our downloadable PlusTV Belize app, Mad Labs, which also carries our signal, and then of course your cable providers across the country, which we are grateful to our cable providers for packaging PlusTV so that you are able to catch our signal. Let's start this morning with our weather report. Kerm Timbrell is not in the house with me this morning, so I will be talking as best that I can, but we want you to join me this morning. So let's take a look at the weather report. The general situation as of 6 a.m. this morning calls for cool, windy, and mostly dry conditions to prevail. Over the next 24 hours, we can expect skies to be variably cloudy, with little or no rainfall expected, and with a low chance for a few light rain, mostly over the southern offshore areas of our country. Marine conditions, the winds are blowing from north to northeast at 10 to 20 knots, so it's a bit gusty, and we can expect the sea state to be moderately rough with waves 5 to 7 feet. That means that there is another small craft caution that is out, that stating that occasionally gusty winds and locally rough seas in north to northeasterly swells will be occurring, and that operators of small craft are advised to monitor the situation and exercise caution. Now, for the next 20, marine conditions, yes, we're finished with that. Now let's take a look at our temperatures. Inland, temperatures will be very cool today. A cool 78 inland is the high, with the low being 63. On the coast, it will be 77 degrees Fahrenheit will be the high, with 68 degrees as the low. In the hills, 68 will be the high, and 59 will be the low. The outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is that skies will become mostly cloudy. There will be a few showers. Expect periods of rain and possible isolated showers will likely occur offshore at first and then gradually move and affect the northern and coastal areas Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night. So that is our weather report. And now there are quite a few stories that are circulating our country. And one of the stories that caught my attention is the credit card situation scam. It's really a scam that's taking place in our country. And it is sad for me to sit here and to say that our country has become a place where scams are happening on a very high rate, and that we have become like Nigeria in my eyes. Our roads have become like Mexico in my eyes. And it is such a sad situation that our cultural ethics has deteriorated to the point where you have to be extremely cautious in doing deals, doing purchases, because there are so many scams that are taking place. I could recall traveling through Mexico, and you had to stop at these different checkpoints, and everywhere you stopped, they wanted money. The police wanted money. They waited sometimes for car dealers who were passing through at various locations where the road was tricky. Maybe a stoplight that did not work. And they would then pounce on unsuspecting drivers and make money off them. Those things are now happening in Belize, as people are complaining that at some of these checkpoints, police are hustling them for money, especially tourists when they are passing through. But this one really caught my attention, which is the BPO situation. We have a new industry, a relatively new industry that has been growing, that has really helped to reduce unemployment, where people, young people especially, can find a job very fast doing the BPOs, call centers. And this is a very fragile industry, because many of the BPO companies are extensions of companies that do work in different parts of the world. Places like India, places like Nigeria. There are countries that are known for BPO, and Belize is coming on the map at a very important time. Now, could you imagine that some of the workers at some of these facilities, they are getting very sensitive information from the general public. But even though a BPO is in your country, most of the business that is done with American and some Canadian customers. So this is a business in your country where the workers, many of them get paid very well. Their working hours and holidays reflect the US calendar, as well as it is expected that the efficiency of the workplace, the handling of personal files and personal information, particularly financial information and credit card information, requires the workers to behave as if they are in the United States, to follow the laws of the United States. Some of these BPOs actually try to create the environment for these workers so that they feel that once they enter into that facility, they are in a sense in the United States. There are BPOs that have childcare, BPOs with small restaurants in there, and BPOs with incentives that if you are able to close certain amount of deals, you get. It is a very good industry for Belize. But our moral compass, our moral standards are reflected in how we deal with the personal information of others and our willingness to preserve an industry from which over 20,000 Belizeans, most of them young people, are making a daily bread. I was shocked, I was floored to the level of criminal scam, the level that Belize has sunk to, and especially our young people, because remember, as I said, that this industry caters primarily to young people. You can see in Belmopan or Belize City, these buildings, when people access them, when people are waiting to go in, when shifts are changing, that there are mostly young people that are working at these businesses. And it speaks to our moral values as a cultural people. That you go in, you are sworn to secrecy, you are properly trained, you are given an assignment or a project to work on, and many times that project involves handling personal information of American citizens. Remember now, America is the biggest economy in the world. America is by far the world's largest economy. Second to the United States is China. But the wealth of the American citizen and their purchasing power, because they make comparatively good money, the GDP of the individual is very high. Americans are consumers, they love to purchase, and then there is the customer support which comes after it. So Belizeans get an opportunity to almost work in the United States from their desks in Belize. Many Belizeans are employed, some of them in the BPOs, some of them in their private houses. And one of the things that you will deal with is the credit card. I was shocked to find out, and it was Chonsan, it's Chonsan in Belize City, era representative for Mesopotamia, that was able, Lee Mark Chang, that was able to say, you know what, I am going to go public with what is taking place, because Chosan itself has been scammed over $4,000, over 100 transactions, which means that these transactions are about 30 to $40, and most of these transactions are on food. Chosan being one of the primary places where people purchase food which can be delivered. I mean, Chosan, I remember Chosan from they were on we all know Amara Avenue, and then they opened up Chonsan Palace, and now they are even in Belmopan, doing very, very well in business, very good food, very good quality, very good service. And some of the people who have, this is card theft. They have stolen. This is fraud. This is a federal offense in the United States. And here you have in Belize, a person maybe calls in to purchase a television. Maybe they are doing a jacuzzi. Maybe there is sale of vehicles. There are so many business transactions that are occurring through these BPOs. One BPO may have 4, 5, or 6 projects that are happening simultaneously, where they are buying, they are selling, and the credit card is at the center of sales. So a person calls into the BPO, and when the deal is closed, they state their credit card information, or through the photograph or some form of transaction, the credit card information passes through the BPO and comes to that sale representative that is here in Belize. And what is happening is that certain cards, the information, identification included sometimes, is held rather than removed from the system. It is held by Belizeans that work in BPO, and then they use that credit card here in Belize to make purchases. This is credit card fraud. As I said, this is a federal offense. This is a major problem. It is not just a problem for the places in Belize that they purchase from. Because when you use a credit card here in Belize, that information is going to find its way back to the United States, to the phone or computer of the individual who owns the credit card. And then it takes a little while sometimes for that person to recognize, especially in America, where they are doing many different transactions with their credit card. That is their preferred form of payment. It is not here like in Belize, where if we own a credit card, we are still doing a lot of cash transactions. And then occasionally we pull out our credit card. So when we make a credit card purchase, yes, we get information that our credit card has been used. It happens in the United States as well too, but they are doing a larger amount of credit card purchases. Therefore, it takes them a while to realize that there are charges on their credit card that their credit card company, they're going to credit or contact their bank depending on where they got that card from. And then the card is going to be frozen. So the businesses that they purchase from won't be able to get their money even though the product went. So when Chosan gets the credit card, what they were doing, they were just processing the credit card, send out the food, but that money would be then processed at the bank in the United States. And then when that bank sends out the information to the owner of that credit card, then over time the owner would say, hey, I was not in Belize. I made a purchase in Belize, but I was not in Belize. So these credit cards are highlighting that the card is being used in Belize. And so this will affect the BPO industry. So could you imagine that because of greed, because of fraud, you are already getting paid in the BPO to do work, so you are getting your pay, but that is not enough for you, that you are stealing people's personal information and then using their money. And then there was the level higher. Couldn't believe it, that they are not only using the credit card, but they are selling it and then selling it to gangs. Selling it to gangs. So I was wondering first why Chosan did a post on Facebook, and the post said, we will no longer be delivering food into certain areas. And I was asking myself, I say, is it that the crime has gotten to such a point where the run men don't want to go into these areas? I was not aware of the scam at that point in time. My concern was, what is it now that these run men are probably being attacked for their food or attacked for something, so they won't be able the people living in the area won't be able to get the service because it is too dangerous? That's what I thought first. Because I saw the comments that were posted by Chosan, only to find out that the reason why Chosan is stopping the distribution of food to that area is because some of the credit cards have been sold to gangsters. To me, that's another level of crime, you know, because you're not only now steal the credit card and then you are using it to buy food or buy groceries or whatever it is you're buying. You are now selling that information that you stole to another group of people who are then using that credit card to get products on it. So this is going to have a negative effect upon the industry. Now, somebody wrote me, and I believe that they wrote some of the other media houses as well, and they were reeling up in a sense, because they were saying, why did the media houses run this story? They said that by running this story, then we put the BPOs at risk. So we should not run the story. And I am sorry. I am sorry. That is not how news works. The purpose of news is not to hide information. That is not the role of media, you know. So they were saying, you know, like the media houses should not run this story because it is going to put the BPO at risk. I'm sorry. It is the BPOs, the BPO industry in Belize is facing the problem that it is facing, not because the story was told, but because of the questionable, corrupt values of some of the employees in the BPO system. They are the ones who have placed the industry at risk. This person said, good morning. We all will have to look to see how these numerous alleged BPO banking fraud cases will be investigated by police and the FIU. Do we have the investigative skills to properly gather evidence and properly prosecute persons? A lot of crimes are not fully ventilated in court because many persons want to keep it out of the media. So here is the problem that this writer poses. Do we have the capacity to investigate these cases? I believe no. I believe no. Why? Chosan's Honorable Lee Mark Chang said that he has been back and forth with the gangs, has been back and forth with the police. So he had to come public. This matter, he said, was happening more than a year. So in my opinion, that statement is showing us that the police have not been able to crack these cases. Even if it's just a few people that are doing it, even if it's just a few people, 3 people, I mean, this is a huge industry in our standard because it employs 20,000 people. That is big for the country of Belize. So these individuals who are carrying out this crime, they do not care about the industry. They do not care about the business that they work. They feel confident that they are going to get away. Now understand me that if you are a corrupt person working within that system, how many credit cards are you processing per day? How many credit cards are you processing per day? How much credit card information you have still? How much credit card information? And so you are looking at a person who is identify which credit cards I can mess with and which credit cards I can use the stolen information. So I don't believe that this is a low-level crime. I believe that this is a high-level crime because that individual or those individuals are also selling the information. So they have found a value, they have found a client. And they are passing the information on because it is multiple people that are accessing the places like Chosan. It's multiple people that are accessing it that are then getting products, I will use the word products, using this card. So what is the FIU going to do? That is a very good question. Well, the Prime Minister said last night that the Finance and Intelligence Unit, FIU, is investigating. But what does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean that they have opened the file? Who are the people that are highly trained in this, with this area of expertise, either at the police department or at the FIU or both, that are able to definitively and swiftly solve this case, deal with this problem? Because the US Embassy is here. The people who gather information and send back to the United States, this is not a joke. This is not a joke, because the reason why America is the largest and most successful nation in the world, and probably in the history of the world, and the wealth that is generated in the United States, due to the size of its economy being the largest in the world, you don't think that they are going to try to protect their economy, the financial strength, the customers? Credit cards are a creation of the United States. And credit cards is the means by which the world customers around the world do trade. So they are going to protect that industry. And if Belize cannot find those individuals, then Belize becomes a problem. Because the purpose of having a FIU, the purpose of having a unit within the police department that deals with these kinds of issues is so that customers around the world, and primarily United States, can remain safe. So if the industry cannot get its act together, then the industry is going to be affected. And I tell you, not only was I shocked, I was disappointed, because there is going to be hell to pay as a country, as an industry that is already experiencing shocks. Number one, AI. AI they come. AI will have the capacity, it has the capacity to answer questions, to make telephone calls, to have the kind of interaction between a salesperson and a human being where the AI is the salesperson. So AI is already going to have this major effect upon this industry. Then, secondly, you have the legislations that are coming down the pipeline in the United States that seek to get these industries, especially the newer ones that are coming out, to employ Americans in America. To say, bring this industry back home. That if you are buying United States product, you are selling United States product, you are a United States company, do your business in the United States. This again is a huge threat to the industry. And now you are going to have a threat from within the industry itself, in Belize, where people are stealing the credit card information and then using it. I tell you, I was disappointed after being floored that such a story could actually occur in Belize. Something is wrong with our people. Something is wrong. And you may say, but it's not a lot of people, it's just a few people. Well, it has international ramifications. Now let's talk about whether or not it's a few people or it's a lot of people. Several years ago, Facebook opened a part of it that's called Marketplace. Marketplace. This is where I began to see Belizean scams take on a whole new level that the banking sector could not deal with, and up-to-date FIU has not been able to address. Cell phones, you know how many people in Belize who try to buy a cell phone in Belize get, I don't know if the word is shafted, but they get scammed. You know how many people try to, maybe a television or something, and one of the things that I saw as well is that they will tell you that the product is available, but if you want me to hold the product for you, then you need to send a deposit. And those send a deposit scams are on larger items because they know that you really need that item. So I have seen items on social media, I have seen them personally, that are there as a bait. It is a bait. So maybe the product costs $4,000, $3,000, and it is a product that you need. A lawnmower, a riding mower, a motorcycle, a quad cycle, a golf cart, large items, not just phones. So there are people who say, I am not going to buy off marketplace until I see the product. I am one of those persons. I am not going to send my money anywhere if I don't see that product and test that product. So I don't care if that product is in PG or Corozal or Cayo. You see, for our younger people, they can't just travel to somewhere to test a product. So things like cell phone, laptop, tablets, headphones, earphones, these things that young people use a lot. Oh man, the scams abound. The scams abound on these devices. People who have sent money and expect that they are going to get the product. They get a product that is not working as described, etc. And so people are beginning to say, okay, I want to see the product. Come, I want to see the product. I want to test the product. So new scams arise which say, oh, yes, this product is available. See the picture here. See how it works here. They might send you a video to show you. But you are the kind of person who you want to see the product, but you really want the product as well. And so they will tell you, a lot of people want it. The product is high demand. But if you want to see the product, I can hold it for you, but you have to put a deposit. You have to put a small amount of money for me. And they are doing that to 10 people, 20 people. They are doing it to multiple people. They are saying, okay, come. But if you really want to come, make a hold it for you. So these people will try to delay when you can see the product. They're going to delay it. Oh, I'm not here. I'm not at home today. Oh, the product is in Belize City. So you are trying to contact them. Is the product good? I want the product. I want to see the product. They are like, yes, yes, you can see the product. And then when you are ready to see the product, oh, I will hold it for you, but you have to put something down. Any product that you have to put a money down, any activity on social media where you have to put a portion of your money down so that before you see it, is a scam. Is a scam. Because there is no guarantee that only you. And then what happens if you go to see the product and you don't want that product? So at that point, your money is gone. Many times that product does not exist, that the scam is in the deposit. And one of the ways that the smaller scams work is that they will tell you, send the money to this account. So they do not let you send the money to their account. And so I have found that the way to do these kinds of purchases, if you do the purchase, is one, you take your money with you. You take your money with you. You inspect the product, and when you are satisfied that you want the product, you pay for the product right there. You pay for the product and you take your product with you. In other words, a good old-fashioned business exchange. You see the person who is selling, you see the person who is buying, you see the product, the transaction occurs, and you can go your separate ways. So scams abound in Belize. So people who are borrowing vehicles, people who are renting vehicles, and there's a whole scam that's taking place with vehicles, and scam that has taken place for years. We start from people where take your money and tell you they are bringing a vehicle from states, and 1 month pass, 2 months pass, 3 months pass, and then they tell you, boss, I don't find the vehicle. Boss, see one vehicle, but it look too expensive. Boss, the vehicle, they come, this, that, the other, next. Many other people are. So it is sad that after watching scams take place and countries being tagged, like Nigeria, etc., as places where scams originate from, and there are other places, that we are now entering this cultural degradation where our money, hard-earned money, is also being scammed. So please be careful out there. All right? So we'll take a break, and when we return, we will have more conversation. You're watching Rise and Shine on Plus TV. We'll be right.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place we ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree.
Every project starts with the right tools. At Builders Hardware, we got everything to get the job moving. Tools, paint, plumbing, electrical, garden, it's all here from construction start to finish. We're also offering a different kind of power tool. Order anytime, anywhere. Pick up in store or get it delivered to your home. Go to shopbuildersbz.com today and save money with our exclusive online deals. Builders Hardware, making it easier.
Today marks a proud and significant milestone for Belize's public service as we celebrate the successful completion of the Strengthening Public Expenditure Management Certificate Program. This program was created to build skills in planning, spending, reporting, controls, and ultimately the delivery of services to our people.
The SPEM project addresses a clear national priority: improving the way Belize manages public finances.
I chose to join this program to be a part of the change, to be a part of what my staff is doing. Gratefully, my staff was selected to participate in this project, and so I wanted to be alongside with them.
Not only myself, but I believe all the other public officers that participated will benefit greatly from this program because it showed us techniques that we can use when performing our budget exercises, how we can strengthen internal controls to ensure the safeguard of government assets as well, and the proper procedures that we must use when making procurement, when we're executing expenditures on behalf of the government.
If you are a finance officer, an economist, a budget analyst, an executive director, an administrative assistant, a first-class clerk, or anyone who touches public funds, you are on the front line. You are not behind the scenes. You are the line that protects Belize. You are the line that turns policy into reality. You are the line that keeps a ministry on the right track, keeps a department disciplined, and keeps the public confidence alive.
Pletz Home Builders is the largest house building company in Belize. Pletz combines the best skilled workers, high-grade materials, and the latest technology to produce the highest quality wooden residential structures. Request any size, color, and the home layout you want. Choose from hardwood or painted metal outer walls. Pletz can modify any of their existing house plans to your satisfaction, complete with all the installation services you need anywhere in the country, including ambergris Cree. They can also lift your house to your desired height up to 9 feet. From properly treated and cured lumber to quality sidings and floorings, let Pletz Home Builders give your home the finish you need. For prices or questions, call 823-0398 or go to www.pletzhomebuilders.com. Pletz Home Builders, we build to suit your needs.
Hello Bemapan, welcome back to the second segment in this series of the Trade License Act 2024. I'm Councillor Chris Enriquez, and today we'll be discussing your business productive footprint and how it impacts your trade license fee. Let's break it down. Your business's productive footprint is the square footage of the area where your operations are conducted. It excludes common spaces such as agricultural lands, lobbies, restrooms, stairways, parking lots, storerooms, and shared hallways, unless they are used for profit. Your business falls under an economic classification based on your business type. This classification, as well as your zone, will further determine the rate applied to your business.
Hi, I'm Lauren Milton. I'm the Evaluation Manager here at the Bemapan City Council. I know a lot of people keep wondering what we're measuring when we visit their business, so let's take a closer look at what productive footprint looks like for the different types of businesses. As you can see, we measure the area used for business purposes only. This includes retail space, dining areas, or workspaces. For example, here's how the productive footprint is calculated for a coffee shop, a supermarket, and an office space, specifically an accounting firm. Let's take a coffee shop for instance. Here we see the kitchen, the bar, and the dining areas as productive space. What's noteworthy here is that a restaurant and an ice cream parlor has similar productive space as a coffee shop. Next, we have a supermarket. For this business, we measure the entire retail floor, including aisles, checkout counters, and display areas. The storerooms and employee break areas are excluded since they are not used to generate direct sales. Lastly, we look at an accounting firm office. The productive footprint here includes the client reception, conference rooms, and workspaces where the business's services are provided. Excluded are areas like break rooms, restrooms, kitchen, and non-operational storage. As you can see, productive footprint is the usable square footage where your business is conducted. This excludes common areas like lobbies, restrooms, and parking spaces, except in cases where these areas are used for profit. Remember, productive footprint looks different for different businesses, so be sure to accurately measure your premise to ensure your fees reflect your footprint. It is important to note that Schedule 8 of the Trade Licensing Act sets fixed trade license fees for specific classifications such as traveling professionals and auto dealers.
Knowing your economic classification and accurately measuring your productive footprint isn't the only factor in your trade license process. You must also consider that there are 4 municipal zones and that your business is located in one of them. Each zone has a different guideline that will affect the rate applied to your trade license fee. As a reminder, the new Trade License Act takes effect on January 1st, 2025. Businesses without a trade license by then are subject to penalties and fees. So we encourage everyone to apply early before the deadline, December 31st, 2024. Stay tuned to our next segment where we will answer your key questions. Thank you for watching, and let's build a prosperous Belmopan together.
From power tools to plumbing supplies, paints to light fixtures, at Benny's Kayo, we've got it all. Our extensive range of construction and household products ensures that you'll find exactly what you need, whether you're a seasoned contractor or a weekend do-it-yourselfer. Visit us at Mile 43 George Price Highway, Cotton Tree Village, just outside Belmopan, and discover the convenience, quality, and affordability that set us apart. Your next project starts here. Benny's, quality and savings.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful morning. The number to call is 822-2031. I made the hopes about me and call in and give me the voice a break. But the text messages are coming in, so I'll have to read the text messages. But we are getting interactions from those of you who are listening and watching the program this morning as we talk about the BPO situation. and the effect that it can have on an entire industry. As you said, over 21,000 people are making their money off this process. This person says, "Good morning, sir. You must ask the question, how can you detect the person or persons from among 20,000 people that are stealing credit card information?" You see how hard it will be to investigate by the police or the FIU. Ask the question so we can get an answer as to how to deal with this situation so that we can learn from each other. You know, it's a very good point. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. But I always say this, right? China have 1 billion people. India have 1 billion people. America has 300 million people. You know, Belize only have 400,000. So essentially, as your population expand and as technology come into play, more and more technology, you have to step up your game. The police, the Belize Police Department, the FIU, the FIU especially, because remember, FIU does not work for the police. This is a total separate department whose job it is to crack down on financial crime, fraud, money laundering. This is their job. We have banks in Belize, we have international banks in Belize, and then our banks have corresponding relationships with other international banks that then connect us to the global financial system. And in order for you not to be de-risked, in order for your banking system in your country to remain connected to the international financial system, you have to make sure that no drugs money is coming into that system. You have to make sure that no money from human trafficking is coming into that system. And the laws have been put in place over the years that ensure that many of the transactions that we carry out on a day-to-day basis have to be monitored. You see how hard it is to open a bank account now? You see how hard it is that even churches have problems to be able to secure the amount of money that they put in or take out, etc. All of the regulations have changed because as we develop and more technologies come in, as I say, you have these scams that run. So there are no excuses because in a country like the United States, as I said, that have 300 million people, you think that fraud can just take place like that over and over again without them launching investigation and finding the people who do it? Because if you cannot find those who commit financial fraud, your entire system is jeopardized. Your entire system is jeopardized. So how will I trust this credit card? How will I want to use my credit card? I will become hesitant. And if you have millions of people who hesitate because of uncertainty, it can directly and immediately affect your economy. And so fraud prevention and catching those who commit fraud with credit card is a highly sophisticated, ongoing, very effective process. And it has to become effective in Belize if we are going to keep our BPO. We will have to show the industry, see, we found who it is, we caught them, and see the penalty here. If we cannot do that, more people will become emboldened and more people will carry out these scams. More people. All right? So we cannot use as an excuse that it's 20,000 people. In some parts of the world, 20,000 people are one business, one company. And so I agree with you that we have to ask the question and that we need answers. This person said, we do not have the cyber laws to successfully persecute these types of crimes. Well, I believe that we do have fraud on the books. But I agree with you that we have a problem even in the banking system, where if you bought a phone off Facebook and the phone does not work or the phone did not come and you paid it to they told you send the money to this banking to this account, you can't get that information from the bank. They tell you go to the police. It's done when you go to the police. I'm sorry, it won't go anywhere. I remember one time we brought into the country a phone. We brought into the country a camera. We were the only ones with that camera in the country because I went to CES, which is a consumer electronics show in the United States. It's in Las Vegas. It just finished maybe 1 week or two ago. We went to the consumer electronics show in the United States, and there was this brand new phone, brand new camera that just came out, where from the camera itself, high quality camera, on the camera was the internet, and we could automatically stream from the camera. I'm not talking about a phone, I'm talking about a high quality camera. We could stream from the camera directly up into the internet. And this is some years ago. That technology did not exist in the world. It didn't exist in Belize for sure. And it was the first year that the camera was being introduced. And when I went to the Consumer Electronics Show, the camera was on display. We looked at it, we used it, we checked it out. The cameras were there. And I told the person, listen, I come from a very distant country. I want to take that product with me. I will buy that product. They said, this is the flow model, sir. You cannot get this product. This product comes out into production such a date. I said, well, I do not live in the United States. And I talked to them, I gone higher up, and they say, okay, when the show is finished, we will sell it to you. And I waited until, it was like a 3-day show. I waited. And at the end of the show, when everybody is putting up their stuff, I came back to the place and I purchased that camera and I brought it to Belize. And we used that camera for like a year or so. That camera was not available in the country. And it was white. It was a white camera. So it could easily, somebody stole the camera. Somebody stole the camera. And because the camera had internet, we were able to track when the phone came on. We went to the police. And said the telephone company, you know, that because it has a chip inside, it acts like a phone, but it's a camera. It's not a phone, it's a camera. And we went to BTL. BTL needed something from the police, and that was the end of it. That was the end of it. And I can talk about my sons. I can talk about my sons too. So when I tell you about phones, scam, and all of this stuff, man, we've been there. Been there, done that. And it's happening across the country. So why do these crimes continue? These crimes continue because we do not have the investigative capacity to get to the bottom of it. And I don't even have to talk about technology. I could talk about when they thief cow, and when they thief horse, and when they thief sheep. You know, a sheep is $250. A cow is $3,000-$4,000 when a person do cattle rustling and thief a cow. That's big money. Police don't solve those crimes. And so it happens over and over again. Once the cow slaughter, you see meat. How you approve that which cow? You know? And so, what about the process? What about the processes that track these animals. So if we can't get animal together, how we can get technology together, all right? And then this other person, as I said, we got multiple communication. People are writing on this particular issue, you know. The person said they are stabbing Belize in the back. That's what they're doing. And they're stabbing BPO in the back. That is very true. And he said, I warned you about the weakness of the character more than once. And this is true, you know. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was telling the friend, every individual is equal, but every culture is not equal. Every culture is not equal. Some cultures respect other people. Some cultures don't. Some cultures respect other people's property. Some people don't. You can visit a country and you can see how they drive. In certain countries, people obey the law. They obey the rules of the road. And in other countries, it's every man for himself. Cultures are not equal. Some cultures are building great civilizations. Some are not. Take a look at what is happening in El Salvador with the coming of Bukele and how he has taken a country that was culturally murderous. It has had some of the largest murder rates, worst murder rates in the world. Bukele comes in and he has a different moral compass and he begins to clean up his country. Today, El Salvador is one of the most safe countries to visit. All cultures are not equal. And so we are now a degrading culture where I have to spend time to talk about an industry called BPO, which is like a lifesaver for our economy. We're talking about an industry that is hiring young people by the thousands, over 20,000. And you will have people there for fried chicken. You will mess up a whole industry for fried chicken for Chausan. That is speaking volumes about their culture. Listen, just the fact that the food they buy. You're starve. You'll starve. You know, like, they're not to buy electronics, then they buy food. Food, when you want to eat in your mouth, digest and go poop and flush the toilet. They are putting an entire industry. What kind of moral standard is that? And this person says many of the police are involved. The banks and police are riddled with small-time criminals who feed their gains to others. Postmen are a scarce commodity due to temptation of the job. It's like going through people's packages and so on. This other person says, please bear in mind that our main problems are enforcement and oversight. And I tell you, some of these BPOs, you can't carry your cell phone in. You have to leave your cell phone outside because they don't want you to take pictures of the information that you are dealing with. And these guys are still finding ways. Well, there are some people who, there are BPOs where, depending on the project where you are, they give you a computer to do it from your home. So there's a lot of monitoring in the BPO. They do have processes. But what is happening? These crooks are bypassing the processes. And that's why I'm saying, like this is a sophisticated crime. It is not a simple crime. But for sophisticated crimes, you need highly trained investigators. People who can track these things down. So from the fact that it is taking so long to deal with, we are in trouble, right? So This person said, make no mistake, if you preach the whole counsel of God, it will come in conflict with popular social issues and sin that today is off limits to preach about. But the true preacher will preach it anyway because he fears God more than men. I firmly believe that a country that puts godly principles, Christian principles into play, where that becomes the level of social consciousness, where people fear God, where people are living the Christ life, it will change our nation. We won't have these kinds of problems. There was a generation in our country where people help their neighbor. People help their neighbors. Now we don't even know a neighbor. How many people don't know their neighbor? There was a time when if you need a little bit of salt, you could go borrow salt, you could go borrow sugar, you could go borrow rice, you could go borrow, I don't know how you borrow, but they borrow, they say, and they bring their little container and they get what they need to finish their meal. People used to send food for other people. I just don't cook one plate of rice, one pot of rice and beans with chicken. Send some for Miss this. Carry this little package for Miss that. People will bake bread and say, send this bread for pastor, send that bread. So, give one little old man. I remember my parents in PG, there's a man who we believe that he had gone out to sea, at least that's how the story goes, that he had gone out to sea and lightning hit him. And he went out to fishing on a calm day and lightning hit him. And so he came back, he was alive, but he couldn't do much. So he lived in like a little shack. And my parents would send food for him, send food. Take this for Mr. Green. Green or Greenwich? I think it was Greenwich. Send this. And they would help him get a bath and so on. It was the culture of our people to serve one another. We were poor, but we never a thief. Nowadays, you can't put down can without people think that they can walk through the can and thief your can. Coconut, my goodness, coconut. You plant coconut because you say, okay, I want to drink some coconut, I want to sell some coconut. And the people when come their farm, thief your coconut, cut it right there, pour out the water right there, and dump the coconut husk, the empty coconut right there. We have an empty house on one of our family properties where somebody just move in. Just move in. So these things are sending a message to us about the state of our society. I think in the news, just before I go, look like two women, they have an affair with each other, and one woman stab up the other woman and gonna call his son for help. Two women, they have a relationship, you know, like a lesbian. And it's not the first time with lesbian they stab up each other. Crime of passion it is called. But the woman gonna call his son, and his son come participate. So the person is in critical condition. I think there's another story about two men, a 30-year-old and a 20-year-old came in intoxicated all the way in Chatamal. Then they outside of the country and come in intoxicated at the hotel and get in a one fight with each other. I don't know if they were a homosexual relationship or Wegana and they, but they broke up the place and fight. And then, so in Mexico now, they had to call the Mexican police to come to these two people. Then you find them are two Belizean. So what kind of reputation are we going to have? And without God, without godliness, there is chaos. And there is only, you go from bad to worse. And so we need God in this nation. We need God in this nation. So as I said, people are equal, but cultures are absolutely not equal. Cultures are not equal. There are some cultures where the ma and the pa still live home. They still have a tight family structure. You could look at the Mennonite community and see the parents are home. They are raising their children. We have cultures in the country. In country, the cultures are not the same. And what we should want is a godly culture. What we should want is the culture that we inhabit. That it be an elevated culture. That we're elevating one another rather than degrading. And so, as I said, I was shocked with this BPO thing. Then I was totally disappointed that Belize has reached that place. Let's elevate our culture. Let's elevate it together. Let's speak to our young people. One of the things that Pastor Scott does, that I do, that several of us do, is we go into the high schools and we talk to these kids. We talk to them and encourage them to serve God, to love God, to live the values of God. Just a couple months ago, I was at Muffles College in Orange Walk. I love Muffles College. I've been there more than once to communicate with the student population. Because if we can't catch them when they're young, then when will we catch them? When their values that they learn as young people, they're going to put it into practice. And so I leave you with that today. As I said, I had to move solo this morning, but I give God thanks. I thank my team behind me, our technicians, etc., our news team as well, for the work that they do here at PlusTV. I don't spend as much time here. Monday mornings, Tuesday mornings, Thursday mornings, and then I'm off. But very grateful that we can continue. We are also fighting together with some of the other media houses, Channel 7, CREM. Last night in particular, we met with the NTUCB to share with them our concerns as it relates to the imminent purchase of Smart by BTL. Many of you saw our press conference that we held also in Belize City, because it's not just about telephone calls, it's also about a system and a network that carries these media houses across the country. And so we have to have concerns. That is why we speak. And then yesterday as well, as senator of the church, I met along with other evangelical pastors, the two organizations, NEAB and the National Evangelical Association, which is the National Evangelical Association of Belize, and then the other evangelical association. We met together with Minister Zabani, Louis Zabani. He is Minister of Constitution, Indigenous People and Religious Affairs. We had a wonderful meeting, and we continue to pray for the government that they do the right thing. Do the right thing. Because Belizeans, you can read all of the comments that people are making regarding BTL and Smart. Belizeans don't want it. So don't tell us it is for us. This is for the betterment of the people. If the people are saying we don't want it, and then you decide that for the betterment of the people, you decide the people don't know what they want. Belizeans know what they want. And they want you to do the right thing. So thank you very much for joining us this morning from all of us here at Rise and Shine. God bless you, Belize. See you tomorrow.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize.